Hey everyone, it's Short Fiction Friday. First of all, I apologize if there's background noise. My neighbors have been doing some chainsawing or something like that, and it's been on and off for like 2 hours now. You may or may not hear a lot of background noise. This week I read 2 short stories, The Body Politic by Clive Barker and The Nighthawk by Dennis Etchison. Let's start out with Clive Barker. The Body Politic was first published in 1985 in Books of Blood, Volume 4. In this story, our main character is Charlie George, and basically his hands develop minds of their own. They start acting strangely. They're not obeying Charlie's will, and the hands want to cut themselves off and be free of Charlie's body. And the story is kind of framed as if this was a rebellion or a revolution on the part of the hands. This story was great. I hadn't read any Clive Barker before, and I'm really glad that this was my first one. It was excellent. And this story, it's almost like it was custom written for me. I'm a fan of hands with minds of their own. There's a couple movies like The Beast with Five Fingers and The Crawling Hand. Actually, The Crawling Hand's not a very good movie, but still, personally, I like these movies. I think just the subject's great. But Clive Barker takes the violence to a much higher level than those movies. It reminded me also of some of the better animal attacks books from the 70s and 80s. Books like The Rats by James Herbert and Slugs by Sean Hudson. So yeah, this was great, and I'm looking forward to reading more Clive Barker. The other short story I read this week was The Nighthawk by Dennis Etchison. It was first published in Shadows, edited by Charles L. Grant in 1978. Our main character here is Darcy. She's a young girl. She lives with her grandparents. And a lot of this story is her trying to talk to her friend Maria. They seem to share an interest in horse riding or riding ponies. As the story progresses, you see that her friend Maria doesn't trust Darcy. Part of the reason she doesn't trust Darcy is that Maria's pony is a little bit injured, and she blames Darcy for it. As the story continues, you meet some of Darcy's weird family members, right? So her grandmother, her grandfather, and her brother. And you get a bit of their strange backstory. This is quite a subtle horror story. It reminded me a little bit of We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, although not quite as good as that novel. But there's a similar emphasis on kind of weird family secrets, family backstory, and no explicit violence. And this was in a collection edited by Charles L. Grant, and I think that was his whole thing, right? Having more subtle, restrained horror stories. Yeah, I'm interested in checking out Charles L. Grant, and more Dennis Etchison, of course. This was pretty good. Not great. Yeah, totally fine. All right, and to rank these short stories, comparing them to my top 20 list here, I'll put the list up on the screen. The Clive Barker short story was excellent. I'm really happy that this was my first Clive Barker story. This is almost like laser focused in on my particular interests in horror. So I'm going to put it number 2. Yeah, excellent. Dennis Etchison's Nighthawk. This was also a good story. I liked it, but it's nowhere near the top 20. All right, let's pick some new short stories for next week. The way this works is simple. I've got book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6-sided die selects the book. The 12-sided die selects the story within the book. All right, let's roll the dice. First roll. 4 and 9. It's the werewolf book. If it's got a pencil mark next to it, I skip over that story. I've already read it in a previous episode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of the Night When the Full Moon is Bright by Kim Newman. And that story is 56 pages long, which already takes us up over the 50-page minimum. Well, that was simple. All right, I'll put the selected story up on the screen there. Kim Newman. I've not read any Kim Newman yet. This is the first time I've only got one short story in an episode. Keeps things easy for me to remember. All right, go read this short story if you have access to it. And I'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.